I'm a new hunter to mobile tree stand equipment, and I'm going to evaluate this Lone Wolf custom gear after 11 hunts. I did practice with the stand 9 times before I started hunting, and of the 11 hunts, 9 times I hung the stand. Now I have been hunting kind of marginal areas just because I want to get used to the equipment. One particular hunt was maybe a little closer, was in an area I knew there were deer beds, but I haven't recorded any large bucks on camera, so I went in there to shoot a doe. And I shot a fawn. Well, it's meat. So I was asked, is venison vegan? And I said, well, yes, deer don't eat meat. So last night it rained a little bit, so I had this rain jacket over the equipment, and the rain jacket also goes over this backpack. That's a backpack that if it gets wet is probably going to get very heavy. I bought this backpack used on eBay. Oops. And it's serviceable. I mean, it fits on the stand and everything. It just, the pack doesn't have any body to it, so it doesn't fit on here really best. But it's serving its purpose, and it is to haul camera equipment into the deer hunting site. So I'm using this strap right here that's already connected to the stand to hold this pack in place. I'm just using one of their built-in tabs here that they put into the stand. I'll show it to you after I get the pack off to hold it in place and tighten it up. And of course, what I really like about this stand so far with the pack in mind is it has this little holder here on the center post to hold that pack in place. So there's the stand, and after 18 uses, I'd say the strap is still in pretty good shape. I used the silent tape on the buckles, and the tape is still pretty much holding, except for we're a little bit on the corners here. It's starting to work loose a little bit, but I guess that means I'm using the equipment. So let's keep going on the steps. Well, we got the cord in the front of it here. I have 31 feet of 5/32 inch paracord. It was able to fit on these hooks, these provided hooks for the paracord. And I didn't measure the amount of paracord that are on the seat hooks, but I think it's more. I think it's longer. I use both paracords. If I'm up very high in a tree, I can't haul up the pack and the bow at the same time because the paracord is thin and it's hard to get a grip on the cord. So I'll use each cord individually, one for the pack, one for the bow. But when I'm only up 2 sticks, and that's what I've been doing, is practicing all 2 sticks, I'm only using this paracord, but I'm putting the pack in the center of the cord. I'm unraveling almost all of it. The pack is in the center, the bow is at the end, so now I'm bringing up the pack individually, and then I put the pack up on the seat, and then I bring up the bow. Since we're talking about the bow holding sidekick is awesome. My bow fits right in there just perfect, and I do have a special or a different kind of a quiver is what I used to have to help make that fit, because the arrows can, if you have them too low on the bow, can play with the equipment here, and you're going to be tapping it on the side or tapping it on the sidekick. So I'll show you that after I'm finished. These J-hooks are just wonderful. They hold everything in place. They hold not everything. They hold the sticks in place very well. You have to understand, I'm not a camera personality or a cameraman. I'm just a hunting guy with a camera. And the camera, all my camera equipment is at least 10 years old. So this is the J-hook. That is what's used to hold that stick in place. And also on the stick and I'm getting very good. The last time I had made zero noise at all taking the sticks off, but I'm still making a little noise putting the sticks back on at night. I think it's because my mind is a little rushing as to how dark it's getting, and I'm trying to get done before it gets totally dark, and I think that's my problem with the nighttime breakdown. But the last couple of setups, I was pretty quiet. Now, once in a while I do tick it a little bit against the stand, but true to what they say, it's really not that loud because of that covering on it. It's not that metal noise like I used to have when I ticked my old stands. So I think this covering that they're putting around the metal is what's advertised. So the sticks fold up pretty nice. I've got cabelators on both of these. I've been setting as high as 13 feet. No, actually 15 feet I had one. My estimate, because I was an oak tree that had limbs, so I was able to use the limbs to get up a little higher. And the cabelators have been pretty nice. I've been pretty happy with it. I did set up one of these wrong, and I'm going to redo it again the third time. I'm not getting the washers in the right places, and every time you loosen up one of these locking nuts, it loses its grip. So now it's lost its grip because I had to pull it apart once, and I used it to put back together. So I bought some new bolts that are the same as this with the locking. I don't know if it's a plastic lock inside or not. It's a locking nut. The steps are very grippy on my feet. I've never had a problem with any of that so far. The strap is holding up very well. Same thing, and one of their instructional videos, the fellow named Cody, he showed how to strap this together to make it more compact, and that's the method I'm using. He's got that instructional video. You just go learn it from him. And these V brackets, they really grip the tree nice. I'm pretty happy with it all. Here's some of the silent tape. I'm trying to put some on the end here because that's where I'm ticking the stand, and tape wants to come off of that. I think this tape is better designed to be on long strips to hold together. So I've bought some other kind of tape that I'm going to put around her. I also ordered some more because I used the tape in more unorthodox places. Like right here is where I put the J-hook through. And every time I would use that J-hook without that tape, I'd always constantly make a noise with it. But now, quiet as a mouse. So that's our steps and our J-hook. It took me a couple of sessions before I started using, when I was practicing, I was choosing trees that were straight, but now I've been using trees that are in position, and for the first time I began to use this leveling device on the platform, and wow, what a godsend. And the same thing with this leveling device for the seat. And 2 hunts ago, in the last 2 hunts actually, I was on a tree that leaned a little bit. Those are the first 2 times I leaned on these, I don't know what they call them, bat hook or something, and where I just had the tree on just a part of this gripping device here. I just had it right here. This didn't touch the tree, and it sunk right in. Once I locked it in place, and the way I lock it in place is before I even get on the stand, I'm lifting this platform up, and then it locks in. And when I do it afterwards by getting on the stand and putting my knees on the seat, it doesn't seem to lock in anymore. So I'm doing a pretty good job of putting my weight on it right here, before I get on the stand and using it. The cushion is comfortable, although I also have a second cushion that I have in my backpack. I'm going to sit longer than a couple hours, and I'm taking that second cushion out as well. Here is the pre-manufactured hooks that I'm attaching my backpack to the tree stand strap to. Is right there, right on this device right here. So now I don't have to use any bungee cords. I'm also I also have some gear ties on here. I'm using that to drape my sweatshirt, or last night's case, the rain jacket, over the stand in my pack. And the grippers that are on the stand itself have also served pretty well. I haven't had any slippage on that. Nice hooks, although I haven't had any real difficult trees yet. But I'm sure it's going to work. I'm building confidence in this. The seat itself, there are tabs here at the end of the seat. Once you flip it around, these tabs fit into some holders that are built into the stand. You see the little slots there? Now these, let's see, I'll get this out of the way here. Right there. You see how they fit into the slots right there? Just like that. Now it's a rigid platform that I can put my pack onto right here. I probably forgot something, but that's my evaluation so far. Being new to this game, I didn't know, how well I would perform. I didn't really have many doubts that the equipment would perform. You just don't know until you start using it. I can tell you what's so wonderful about this. The concept of this, of hunting all these different spots, is just amazing to me. I simply can't get bored with hunting. Somebody just drove up. And the stick, I've had a little harder time getting used to putting it back together quietly. And it took me a while to actually get this cableator on right. It takes a little bit of a trick to figure out to bring this loop back around. I guess I'm a little slow. And what I have a little problem with once in a while too is I don't have my stand on the ground very well. So it's a little harder to get these rubber grommets. And I really like these rubber grommets here that are on the sticks. They fit right into these holes. So you have a way to line up these steps on the stand so they're always at the same position. There's the hole, and there's the grommet, male and the female. Okay, and I've had some problems getting that in the hole, and I've been making a little noise doing that. And of course, you got this cable that holds your seat to the platform, and that's kind of in the way a little bit, so it's taking a little time for me to kind of work around that without making noise. And I make noise up here. Sometimes I don't have this step more at an angle backwards. So I've got some different tape. I'm not gonna put the silent tape on this step, but these two steps I'm gonna wrap with this new real thin tape I bought. It's less money than the silent tape, so I'll save a little money. And all that, those grommets are in those holes now. And now set the J-hook in place. It's going to hold the stick to this platform very solidly. I think it's Cody that one of his videos, he said you can go down the road, down the freeway at 70 miles an hour and throw it out the back of the truck, and these sticks aren't going to come off of the platform. I wonder how the rest of it would look though. But I got that silent tape in there. You didn't hear anything. And it's wearing down now that I'm using it, so I'll reuse that. I'll re-tape it at some point when it starts making noise. But I also put that silent tape right here where the J-hook goes around, and I eliminated that little click that happens otherwise. So it looks like my strap came off. That goes on the stand. I've been having a very easy time the last 4 or 5 times hanging the stand on the tree. I'm getting used to it. Happily getting used to it. So I can tell you in the beginning I was kind of rushed. I want to get up in the tree. And that's what caused the noise, is my rushed feeling that I have. Just like I described when I get rushed a little bit because I'm taking it apart in the dark. But I can tell it's becoming more routine now after 18 setups, and I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about having that stick in my hand. I'm thinking about how I'm putting it on a tree, thinking about how I'm climbing, and I'm getting fairly quiet. Now I'm going to be going on a hunting trip this week, and I'm going to go into some more serious hunts where I know there's bedding very nearby, and I'm looking forward to it, because I think I'm not a master, but I think I'm in the process of mastering this equipment. And I'm not saying this is the best equipment on the market. I don't know of anything else. This is just what I bought because of the engineering of it put together. I met a young man last night at the parking lot as I come out of the woods, and he had a Beast stand, and he let me pick it up and everything. It's light and it's compact, and those steps actually do fit in there pretty nice, and they were tight, but it's a little bit different engineering than this. And I like the Beast channel on YouTube, and I watch it and I'm learning from it. I might buy one of his stands just because I like the process there. He has a lot of fun, doesn't he? So anyhow, this is a Lone Wolf Custom Gear 1.0, and that's my demonstration. I'm probably going to have another demonstration close to the end of the season when I should be a master. How many times do you have to set this up to be considered a master? I guess it's 10,000 hours of apprenticeship to become a master plumber or something on that order. But I don't know, let's say 100. I think if you set this up 100 times and you're able to do it at that point deadly silent, then I guess you can be considered a master. I'm going to consider myself a master anyway. All right. I really like it. Oh, one more thing. I've got to evaluate one more thing. One more Lone Wolf Custom Gear. That's it, custom gear. One more Lone Wolf Custom Gear item. That's this thing right here. This is the pocket arm, and I've used it on every single hunt. So 9 times I've set it up. Well, actually I used it in practice a few times too, but 9 times I used it in real action, and I'm impressed. I've mastered it too. It took me a couple times to figure out what this knob was for. I mean, I knew what it was for. You tighten it down, right? But what I didn't know is you have to actually loosen it back up and you have to draw this part of the knob in, because you can't tighten the strap down enough to hold the camera. It's still tippy like this. So if you suck that way in like that, well, now it's going to be a little wobbly. But now when you tighten this knob up and you extend this portion out, now it tightens the strap onto the tree. And I've got a fairly significantly heavy camera for this. Not a problem. Not a problem. When I shot the fawn the other day, I forgot to move it. So there's still the mental aspect of it. Well, I shot the fawn, and sometimes I feel a little bad about that. I'm thinking, you know, I bought this equipment to hunt old bucks, but I also like venison, and I just couldn't help myself. Well, tenderest meat in the woods right there. A whitetail fawn. I'm starting at the bottom. Thanks for watching. So here's the bow and the sidekick. That's how it's placed, and it fits very well. This is a Matthews. This is one of their lesser cost models. I bought it used. And the quiver has an adjustment. So the adjustment is in here. The adjustment is in here, where you can slide that quiver up and down. Where before my arrows were with the old quiver, my arrows are way below this cam, way below it. And I couldn't set the bow on the ground because of those knocks being there. And also it was kind of a little bit of an impediment to get it into this. And you had to think about the arrows that were protruding there so you wouldn't click it on the bow or on the sidekick. So by using this adjustment, I was able to bring the top of this is the guard, bring that up almost even with the top roller here. And that's, you know, I can even have this even higher to have this protrude over this top cam, because when I put it on the ground, I'm putting it on the ground in this direction. This is always up anyway. And when I walk through a lot of brush, well, I'm always angling it this way so that my arrows aren't catching on anything. My arrow knocks. So that's how it fits. Oh, wrong way, gotta go back around. And if I put it on the other side, it might not be any. I mean, I have to pick it out of there anyways. And there's 3 grabs. You grab it to take it out, and then you put it in a position so you can put your hand on the grip. And then, of course, now you're connecting to the arrow with your release. So there's 3 actions no matter what side you put it on. If I put it on the other side, I still got the same 3 actions. And maybe I would clear my arrows then. So I've thought about that, but I've got it on this side. I'm getting used to this. I'm going to continue with this routine for a while. I may trade that over just to try it next year during practice. But right now I'm on the hunt. And this is one of the great accessories that can be purchased from that company. You can even put these on all other stands as well. So that's what he's claiming anyway. And with that, it's time for the hunt.